I'm located in Oregon in the United States. I appreciate you joining me tonight. Thank you so much. Be sure to like this video if you like the content that you see. And after I get this uploaded for everyone, there will be a shopping link in the description of the video below. Okay, so as you can see, the September to December 2026 Stampin' Up! Catalog is in my hot little hands. This arrived in my home about 30 minutes ago. I received my pre-order. One of the perks of being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, we get to order products 6 weeks before they go live to customers. So my order arrived very, very quickly, and for which I'm grateful. And this is the new catalog filled with lots of fun things. And I cannot show you the inside, but I can give you a peek at the covers. So there you go. Now let's go ahead and see who's on. See if I can get that up. And let me turn the sound off before I push that so you don't get the echo. And hello, Cher Ellis. How are you? All right. So at least I know we're transmitting and we have somebody on. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So we are going to do Christmas in July, which is appropriate because it is like Christmas in July at my house tonight. Lots of good things that I will be showing you. Not at the moment though, because we're going to make a card using Festive Cheer. This came out in the July online exclusive, so it's been out a couple of weeks. And I decided that tonight would be a good night to show you how to make a quick and easy card using this stamp set and die bundle. Okay, so you get 22 photopolymer stamps and 19 dies. Okay, some of these are all open dies that cut out the stamped images, and then you get some bonus pieces that don't cut out the stamped image. Okay, so we always like I always like the bonus pieces. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get started. And our card base is Hydrangea Hue. This is one of the 26 to 28 in colors, came out in May. And I have a piece of the basic cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, and I've scored it in the center at 4 1/4. That will be our card base. Then I've taken a piece of the Country Woods designer paper. This designer series paper has been out for quite some time, and it just seems to work appropriately for my card for today. And it is all just wood grain paper, which never goes out of style. So I've got a piece of that. And this is 3 3/4 by 5, and this is what we're going to be working on. Now, I don't need to put any treatments on here, so I'm going to go ahead and add this to my card base. And I think I'm going to do it this way. Not that it matters how it goes. I kind of wanted this to look like maybe some wood paneling or wood planks in your house. Okay, so we've got that. Let's go ahead and get our stamping done. And silly me, I didn't grab a piece of white cardstock, but I've got some right here. So let's use this. Now we are using a lot of colors today because I wanted to use some contrasting colors. So we're going to start with Secret Sea and Hydrangea Hue. And I've got the largest of the ornaments here, not the elongated ones, but the squattier ornaments. This is the largest one. And this is the background detail. It's the background stamp or outline stamp. So I'm going to do that in Secret Sea. Okay. And then we're going to come behind with Hydrangea Hue. And I'm going to take the inner portion of that ornament. And I'm going to stamp this. Hang on just a minute. I find to get a better image if I use my silicone mat or my Stamp and Pierce mat. And this one's the handiest. So that's what I'm going to use. Okay, now this is a two-step stamp, so I'm just lining that up. And that's going to fill that in. Okay, now I could have made all of my ornaments the same color and saved myself several stamp pads, but I didn't want to do that. So next I'm going to go to the middle-sized ornament, and I'm going to do this in Cherry Cobbler. And again, I've got the outline. And then I'm going to move to, hello Cynthia. Then I'm going to move to Barely Blush. And I'm going to take the inside piece and I'm going to stamp that down. And then the next two colors are Blackberry Bliss and Berry Burst. I'm going to use the smallest of those three shorter, squattier ornaments. I'm doing the outside in Blackberry Bliss and the inside in Berry Burst. This one is the trickiest one to line up, so let's see how I do with the camera in my way. It's kind of hard to get my head right where I need it to go, but there we go, beautiful. Okay, so I've got those. Now, these are ready to be die cut, and when we die cut, we can die cut a bunch more stuff. But I'm going to start with these, and then I'm going to show you how I did my other pieces, which are not stamped pieces. They're the extra die cuts. Okay, so I think I'm done with that. So let's get our dies, and we'll die cut those. Because I didn't pre-do that. I had to make a quick trip into Salem to the Kaiser Pharmacy to pick up an antibiotic today. It sucked up some of my time. So we're gonna, I like to take and tape these down just so they don't move. And you know, after I took all the time to do the stamping, I don't want to start over, so I'm just going to take the few extra seconds it takes to tack those down with cement tape, and then we'll grab our mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, because all of these die cuts in this particular set will fit through the mini machine. So I'm just going to cut all three of these at once, and we'll have that done. Okay, So there's that. Set this over here. And now we've got 3 beautiful ornaments ready for our card. Pretty quick and easy. Now, of course, you could color these if you choose. But I chose to go this route because I wanted all the details that you get from the 2-step stamps. Okay, so for the rest of this, what I did was I need some bows. And I wanted to make my bows all the same colors as my ornaments. So I started with taking a look at how big my bow is. Okay, so I've got this. And I don't need much area, so I'm going to take my Hydrangea Hue Shimmer Brush, and I'm going to give that a good shake. And then I'm just going to scribble on some Hydrangea Hue here. And that would be big enough for that. Then we're going to take the Dark Cherry Cobbler Stampin' Blend, and I'll flip this over right here. This is an easier way than digging for all those tiny little scraps when you just need a real small piece. So this is all nice and shimmery from the shimmer brush, and I don't know if you probably can't see that on camera, but I want to make sure that this one is shimmery as well. So I'm going to take my Wink of Stella pen and I'm just going to put some Wink of Stella over the top of that. And then I need one more in the Blackberry Bliss, or I'm going to use the Dark Berry Burst actually. So again, I'm going to take my blend and I'm going to scribble on some color, and I'm going to add in some Wink of Stella. Okay. And what did I do with my scrap paper? I don't know. We'll just use this. It'll work. Okay. So now I've got all of that. And then I need the tops to these ornaments. And that comes like this. It'll cut 5 ornaments, and you can choose what shape you want. There's 2 sets. I chose to use these. And for that, I'm grabbing my Golden Glow Shimmer pen, and I'm just going to scribble on some of that. And then I'll have some nice shiny gold tops. And then I would take and run all of these through the die cut machine. Now I've already done that because I would need to run these through 3 times, and I didn't think you wanted to sit and watch that, so we're not doing that. Those pieces are right here, cut out and ready to go. So let's go ahead and put those together. Okay, there we go. I've actually got extra because it cuts 5 and I only need 3. So I'm going to put this out of the way for the moment. I'm going to bring in my craft sheet. Okay. And I'm going to first take a little bit of liquid glue, and at the top of my ornaments, I'm going to add just a little bit of liquid glue there. Okay, while I've got my glue out, I'm going to turn my, oh, actually, nope, this didn't work very good. I'm going to use glue dots for those. Okay, so now I'm just going to take and put these at the top and let those sit. Should grab my take your pick tool. Yeah, it'll be easier. So then I can just pick and stick. Put that right where I want it. Okay, so I've got that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and grab some glue dots. And I'm actually going to cut these in half because I don't need the whole glue dot for each top. So I'm just going to cut those in half. And then I'm going to take my take your pick tool and roll that up. Put it in the center of my bows. Oops, come on. My bow loops are getting stuck on each other. Okay, then I've got another one here. So I'm just going to roll that into a little ball. The tip of my take your pick. And then I've got one more right here. And we'll put that on the remaining bow. Okay, so we've got that. Oops. Now I'm going to go ahead and match my bows to my ornaments. Here. Okay, so now we've got that. We can go ahead and flip these over. And I'm going to get some Stampin' Dimensionals here. And then I'm going to grab my minis. I don't have very many left of on this particular sheet. So let's grab a little mini here. Let's grab an edge. That's what we're going to have to do, grab the edges. I'm just going to cut some little strips here. Excuse me. And then I'm going to cover the hole there. So that's going to cover up that glue dot, stick to that glue dot, support the top at the same time. And trust me, you want to do this now, not later. Okay, so now we've got some pretty good support there. And now we can set these aside because they're ready for our card, but our card is not ready for them. So let's go ahead and we'll set those aside and we'll take a look at the rest of it. Okay, so I took ahead of time, and this is a piece of two-toned Peaceful Pine, and I took on the dark side and I cut one piece out. Okay, ran that through the die cut machine. And then I flipped it over. This is actually the light side. And then I flipped it over and cut one on the dark side. So I've got one dark and one light because I need two. And I've got those right here, ready for our card. Okay. And then you get this little piece here. And we've also got the Noel. Now this is one die, cuts out 4 separate letters. Okay. So this piece is meant to be a branch. So again, what I did with that is I took the Deep SU 200. Now you could easily just use early espresso or pecan pie if you wanted, But I chose to go this route with the Deep SU 200 Stamp and Blend so that I would have some variation in color here. And I did that intentionally and then cut two of those out, one for each of the pine boughs. And so I've got those here. So let's go ahead and add those to our boughs. Okay. And we'll just lay that down and match up the bases and go right up the bow, just like that. Okay. And then we'll repeat that with this one. And that way we've got the wood part of our pine tree and not just the peaceful pine color. Okay, so these two are now ready. We'll set those aside to dry. And the last thing that we need to take care of for the front of our card then is the Noel. Okay, so for this one, I wanted it to be the same color as the caps on my ornaments. So I took a piece of basic white and I laid my die down on here. And I took a pen, which is erasable, and I don't know where I put it. Funny, that's, huh. Okay, so a pen or a pencil, just grab a pen or a pencil. And I took and I put like a little dot here, 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 and here. And I just wanted to know where the outlines of that die were going to fall. And then I took my Golden Glow shimmer pen and I colored within those four little dots. Okay. And then I took it to my die cut machine and cut it out. And now we have these gold shimmered letters. Now, could you do this the other direction where you just die cut them in white and then did the gold shimmer pen? Or you could use Golden Glow paper and add the shimmer pen, or leave the shimmer pen off if you didn't want it. Yes, you could do it that way, but I'm going to tell you that this is a whole lot easier to do it this way than to try and color each individual letter, because that's the way I did my sample and it took a lot longer. Okay, so just a little tip there for you to save you a little bit of time. All right, so now we have all the pieces for our card front. So let's go ahead and slide these out of the way, bring back in our card front, and we're going to start with the dark peaceful pine branch. And I'm just going to take a little bit of liquid glue and I'm going to go along the branch here. And then I'm just going to add just a little bit up the boughs because I want my boughs to stay fluid at the top. So I'm just going to do down part of it. I might want this longer one to have a little bit of stability there. So we're just going to do that. And then we'll get a hold of these. And I'll just put this about right here. Give that a gentle press in case I want to move it. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So I'm just going to go up the branch line. A little bit there. and we should be good. Okay, and then I'll grab a hold of that and I'll entwine those two just the tiniest little bit to look like they're coming off the trunk together like so. And when I'm happy with that, I'll just give that a good press. Okay. Now I'm going to move down to my Noel. And the easiest way to line up your letters on Noel is to use a grid paper or mat. In this case, I'm using the grid on my Glass Mat Studio. And I'm just going to lay that down how I want them using the grid line on my mat. And then I'm going to take a piece of washi tape, or in my case, mint tape, that is about the length of that. So I'm going to tear that off, give myself a little bit of extra room, and then I'm just going to lay that down and pick those up gently. And now they're all stuck together, see? Now I can turn it over, get my silicone mat here, and I'm going to take my liquid glue. Now you could use adhesive sheets. I actually prefer the liquid glue in this fine tip bottle. Makes life so much quicker because I don't have to try and peel that backing off. And because I've got the fine tip point, it goes where I want it to go. So I've got that all glued together now, and now I'm going to lay this down here, and I can see where I want it, make sure it's straight, move it over, take a good look at how that goes. I'm actually going to move that up a bit, and just do that. And then I can give those a good press. Make sure those adhere well. And then I can take my tape and gently lift that up. And now I know my words are exactly how, my letters are exactly how I wanted them. They're nice and straight. They're the right distance apart. And I was able to put it where I wanted it. Okay, I hope you like that little tip. And finally, what we need to do is add these to the front of our card. Oh, I never did get gems for these. I needed to pick out some gems. I didn't do that. We'll have to do that. Okay, so I'm going to put this one about right here. And then I'll take the medium one. Take off the backings. I'm going to put this one right up here. And then I'll take the smallest one and I think I'll put this one right. I'll put this one more over here, like so. Okay, so now we just need to add some gems and add the centers or the inside piece. I'm looking for my pearls. which must be in a smaller package. Let's see, there they are right there, the iridescent pearls. What I think I'm going to do with these is I'm going to take two of the smaller ones. I'm going to put one in the center of that ornament, right there. Another one in the center of this ornament, and then I'll go to the large ones for the large. And then we'll just give those a press with the tip of our Take Your Pick tool so that they adhere well. And there is the front of our card. What do you think about that? I think that will be easy enough for, oh, I see the hearts, thank you. I think that would be easy enough to replicate, especially because while you're using your blends, the paper goes really fast. You can cut everything pretty quickly. All right, so for the inside of my card, I took those ornaments, and this particular sentiment comes from a retired stamp set because there wasn't anything in the Festive Cheer set for sentiments that I wanted to put on the inside of my card. So I just pulled from an old retired set I had in my stash called Christmas to Remember, and took this, May This Be a Christmas to Remember and Cherish. Stamped that in there in the hydrangea hue. And again, I used the two smaller ornaments. And this time, instead of using the die cuts, I used the little stamp top in Golden Glow that comes in that set, and I just stamped that, and then I took my string and added that. And then for my envelope, I took the negative section here. I actually cut this a little bit bigger the second time. Where did I don't know where I put that. But I just took this and went like this. Okay, let's, like this. That's how it's going to fit. Yeah. Okay, so I did that. And then I masked it off with Post-it notes so it didn't get on my envelope. Took a blending brush, some Peaceful Pine ink, and I made sure that I went this direction so that these didn't flop up. And then I added in those ornaments, and in order to ensure that my strings didn't go too far, I put this on like so, and then stamped it down at the height I needed it. And then I moved it to the next one and did it again. Okay, so that way I get a coordinated set, and it goes fairly quickly. And then I'm just going to add this to the inside of my card, and that's what I have for you this evening. So I hope you like that look at Festive Cheer. And like I say, this is from the July online exclusives, and it is available in my online store today. Okay. I will be back on Tuesday night on Facebook at 7. Not sure if I'll be making a card or if I'll be doing a pre-order unboxing. We'll see how that goes. All right. Thanks everybody for joining me. I appreciate you so much. I'll see you soon. Good night.